always about service, Joe.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you should really be there, do open houses, stuff like that. I said, well, the house is not in great condition. I go, okay, you're going to sell it as is? Then, yeah, then maybe you have a chance. You're basically just putting it on the MLS and waiting for a buyer's agent before next month to come in and, offer you a price.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
whatever.
He'll figure it out. So we are stoked to have our in-studio guest. He just arrived after sitting in traffic, still made it here.
I am sorry.
No, you're good, man. Dude, Paul filled in a time we had somebody drop off, and he jumped at the opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
Which is probably why you are so successful as you are. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. Paul, how you doing?
Good to meet you guys. Good to be here.
Awesome.
Excited to hear what you guys are doing and learn from you guys. And
oh, yeah, same here. Same here. Well, it's all about you today. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Why don't you give people like your background, how you got into real estate, what you were doing before, and kind of fill everybody in.
So right after I graduated from high school, my dad threw me into a real estate school. And it was the summer before going to UCLA. And I didn't take it very serious at all. And I ended up failing the real estate salesperson exam the very first time. And then it was time to take the test a second time. And I really, really, really wanted to pass it. Like I wanted to pass this exam. And so this was back when there were Texas Instrument calculators, the scientific ones. They still use them, but this is pre-smartphones or smart mobile devices. And I thought I had this brilliant idea that I was going to program the calculator. Yeah. And this is before we had QWERTY keyboards. This is where I'd have to press a number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3 times before it turned into the letter that I wanted. And I programmed the heck out of this Texas Instruments calculator, which in retrospect was you're going in there to try to cheat on the government proctored exam, but I'm 18 years old, right? So I have the calculator completely programmed. I show up to take the exam, and I turn it on, and it starts to flicker, and the batteries die. So anyway, I end up passing the exam on my own. Needless to say, all that programming and doing all that stuff, eventually got my license. So I got my license at 18, and then I worked my way through college, became a broker when I was 30, built up an office to about 150 agents at one point. Then I became an REO broker. I hear you talking about, sales and being able to sell virtually. I mean, we were selling during the last crash, hundreds of homes every month as REOs, and we were doing all of that virtually. Wow. A lot of it virtually. But and then in the last 5 years, I transitioned into really becoming a real estate investor. I realized that I'd done such a really good job of helping other people build their portfolios, and just a crappy job of building my own, just crappy. And so that's where I pivoted, and now I've been really focusing a lot of my effort on becoming a better investor, as opposed to just becoming a really good and proficient salesperson. And that's where I am.
I love that. And I think like sales is one of those skills that I think everybody should learn, as and then you can kind of use it to direct where you want to go from there. But having that skill, it's like you're already putting yourself ahead. So now you're talking to sellers of properties you want to acquire. Boom, you already know exactly how to get their motivation, how to solve the problem, and then take the property down yourself instead of, I guess, listing it.
Right. Ideally now I'm approaching everybody as an investor first, and this is what I teach even my current sales team is if you're licensed, you approach them as an investor first, because it's easier to make that transition from investor to agent, as opposed to going in there saying, hey, I want to list your home, and then trying to say, oh, and by the way, now I'd like to buy it for 60 cents on the dollar. Is that okay? Doesn't work that well. It's not a smooth transition. So, 100% having that background in sales helps us all.
Nice. And so I guess take us through like your sales training. I mean, and then you're I guess training your team now. What does that look like? Do you have certain philosophies, or what does that look like?
Okay, so are we talking as real estate investors on the wholesale side, or are we talking as real estate agents?
I guess you could go on the investor side first.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking about on the investor side, we talk really. It's all about lead generation. That's a huge component, and I feel like that's probably the most important skill that we can teach them is just learning how to hunt, how to go out and get those leads on a daily basis. And it takes discipline. It takes action. And you know what it's like where you could spend 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and you may have not caught anything. You may have not gotten any really good leads that day. And we know that feeling. So sometimes it's challenging for people who are just getting into our business to prepare them for that. Where you could work all day and you might not see any daylight. You might not see any immediate benefits from what you're doing that day. So the most important part is setting them or helping them understand the right expectations for what it's going to be like, as opposed to what we see. Because on the internet, we see a lot of, hey, this is easy. You just get on the phone, you call a seller. They're going to welcome you in. You're going to make them an offer, a discounted offer. They're going to take it. Then you assign a contract. You close on it. You fix and flip. Everything sounds easy on the web. And then the minute they get on the phones or the minute they start prospecting, reality kicks in. And that's when they realize it's a lot harder than it really is. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of our sales training is lead generation, teaching them the different lead generation components.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, maybe we can jump off from there. Like, what are your main lead sources right now?
So I love PPC.
Okay.
I really do like PPC, and there are a couple good PPC providers. I don't know if we want to give them a plug or not, or if you guys even offer PPC.
I don't offer PPC.
Okay.
Just tell me what you're using.
Right now I like iSpeed to Lead.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a company that I use.
Gotcha.
Zolo Leads is a good PPC company. I use those two. I really, for a while, I liked the fact that I considered myself a specialist when it came to like Facebook ads and YouTube ads and all of that stuff, until the algorithms change, and then you got to relearn everything all over again. And so at some point I kind of said, okay, do I want to become an advertising agency, right? Or am I just going to focus on becoming the real estate investor that I am? And so eventually I just said, I don't want to keep relearning this stuff and having to do it over and over again, even if the changes are incremental, because the changes might not be these massive changes, but just having to go back and relearn it again, it just was a lot of work. So I finally just said, okay, let me pass the baton and let's work with these PPC companies, and that's one of our big lead generating sources right now is the PPC. And then if we're going like the free routes, I'm teaching them, a lot of them, how to use Facebook Messenger and Marketplace, and like reaching out to people that way on a daily basis, doing it every single day. I think a lot of it has to do with time management, especially. I mean, we all know what it's like to go from employee mindset to like self-employed mindset. Making that jump or that transition it's difficult for a lot of people because they don't have the discipline to sit there and really do the work that we're telling them to do. So if I tell somebody, go hop on Facebook Messenger, as weird as that might sound, and go prospect using Facebook Messenger on all the marketplace listings, eventually what ends up happening, or I've seen it happen, is they start sending out messages, they don't get any responses, and before you know it, they'll go down the black hole of Facebook, and then they're looking at posts, and then they're looking at reels, and then they're looking at videos, and then all of a sudden they're on TikTok. And it's like, that wasn't what I told you to do for the last couple of hours. And so, that's the difficult part, is that discipline.
Yeah.
So we do PPC. I love marketplace and prospecting that way. Okay. And then there's cold calling, man.
Yeah.
It still works. People are going to argue that nobody's picking up their phone, and it's true. People are picking up their phone a lot less because of the spam calling and all the alerts. But at the end of the day, people are still answering their phones. So you just, you learn how to become a master on the phone.
You just got to dial them like 5 times. And then they're like, it's got to be an emergency. Hold on, what's up? Yeah. Hey, have you thought about wanting to...
5 times is crazy. That's pretty cool. I mean, I tell everybody, like, you're going to have to call them at least 2 or 3 times. But I haven't thought about 5. But
No,
Call hammer.
Yeah. I've told this story before, but like I called a lady 5 times one time because I was supposed to give her an offer. She wasn't getting back to me, and then finally she answered. She's like, "What?" I was like, "Hey, I was just calling you about." She's like, "I'm in a meeting right now," and I had like just stepped out, like I was giving a presentation.
Oh man.
So
Well, you got her attention. Yeah, it
that
worked.
was the 5 times, and I was like, "Okay, I'll give you a call later."
So what ended up happening with that deal? Just out of curiosity.
I got it under contract, and then I had to price drop her, and then she didn't go for it.
Which happens in our business a lot. That's just part of it. But I mean, that happens even in traditional real estate.
Right.
Like it's not only as investors. But I'm glad you said that because I tell everybody you're going to lose more business by not following up or by not being enthusiastic enough about getting a hold of them than you will ever lose it just because you keep trying to get a hold of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they honestly don't mind because, and I get it, like your life gets in the way, you get busy, you're like, I do want to talk to the guy, but I can't right now.
Right.
And then finally they pick up and they're usually not pissed. They're just like, hey, and this is after like 100 calls.
It's crazy, right? and the thing is, people think that we need to put on this like poker face, like if we're courting them. Like I'm not that interested in you. You know what I mean? But it's like, did that really work though? Did feigning interest really work when you were courting someone, or was it the fact that you were like demonstrating real interest in them?
Yeah.
So it's the same logic, and so I tell people all the time, like you got to get a hold of them. Like you call them once, call them twice. I know some people don't like leaving messages. Leave them a message. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're just demonstrating to them that you're interested in finishing what you're starting with them until they tell you drop dead, and there's still an opportunity.
Absolutely. And then because if you're not doing it, someone else is.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and because you could be a little bit like, I'm not sure. Like I'll talk to people. They're like, should I call him again? And I just called him last week. I was like, yeah, keep doing it. Because someone else is going to come. Like Paul's going to jump on the phone and lock him up before
100%. I tell your leads are my leads. My leads are your leads, and our leads are their leads, and vice versa. We're all sharing the same data. Some might be a little bit more fresh than others, or a little bit better, but at the end of the day, we're all talking to the same people.
Yeah.
And it's just you catching them at the right point. And this is another thing I tell everybody. Like, there's going to be some people that just will not do business with me just because I look like somebody that may have broken their daughter's heart in high school, right? Just for that one specific fact. So if you get a hold of that person at the right time, there's a good chance that they'll give you their business.
Yep.
End of story.
You could be the first caller. You could be the last caller.
Absolutely.
It just depends how, you actually look like my boyfriend in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to do business with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
it's like
you never
really
know.
don't know.
Yeah. No,
really
you don't know. And that's like we go after like pre-foreclosures and auctions, and that's just like you could call them at any time and they just pick up randomly and they're like, I choose to work with you. Even though they'll tell you like I'm talking to like 20 people right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so this is what you're going to do. When anybody else calls, you're going to tell them it's already under control.
No,
Coach them through it.
Alex, I'm not interested. Call back the next day. No, Alex, I'm not interested. Okay, this is your last day. You're getting foreclosed on in 3 days. Okay.
Yeah.
No, Alex, I'm not interested. Alex, let's go knock on his door.
yeah, pretty much.
Go knock on his door, wake him up. He's sleeping on the couch.
Right.
Dude, we were serious. This is your last day. Sign here or you're going to lose like $250,000 in equity.
Yeah.
Your choice. Yeah.
They go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's door knocking. I mean, have you done any of that, or it's
I'm not a big door knocker.
Right.
I just run really, really warm. So like the minute I walk outside of my car to the door, I'm already sweating.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I got you.
That's just
and this is in the winter, right?
Yeah. I run really, really warm.
Right.
And hot is probably a better description. So I'm not a huge, I know that there are people like you guys that have success doing it, and you get a hold of people. I've just always been the phone has always been my weapon of choice.
Totally. Well, and it's scalable.
Yeah.
It's like you can definitely reach a lot more people that way, even if you don't get in front of them. Like you're gonna find somebody eventually. But I'm kind of the same way too. Like I'll run hot, so like you show up all sweaty. You're like, hey, how's it going? They're like, are you okay? Just sweating bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably
And you know, I remember there was a time where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I had all my packages set up with like letters, the pre-printed letters, handwritten letters in there. And I remember visiting, and you know, I did some crazy things when I was younger. So I'd get about 45 of these, and I'd just spend the whole day visiting all the properties that were like NODs or NTS. And for the people that are listening, we're talking about notice of defaults and notice of trustee sales. And I just remember how exhausted I was just driving all over town. And I think I only connected probably out of like 30 with just one person.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, and so only for those reasons, I tend to like the phone.
Yeah. No, I'm all about the phone. Yeah. No, we honestly don't really door knock that much. I just know it can be effective.
There's people that have closed some bonkers deals, like really, really good deals. And I've seen them and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But you know, we just recently had one that we did where the assignment spread was it was like 105.
Nice.
Yeah, it was 105. I JV'd it with somebody on Brent Daniels' team.
Oh, cool.
And so it was split in half, but it was still a monster deal,
That's
right?
nice.
And I remember when we were sharing it, kind of getting skewered by a few people because they're like, you know, that's $100,000 that could have gone to the seller in equity.
Oh.
And so, yeah, so
Okay.
so these days I tend to like more like volume with smaller spreads versus like the one or two deals that look, don't get me wrong, it feels good, you know, getting paid, but I tend to like more volume.
Okay.
And then doing the smaller spreads, you know, $15,000 to $20,000
Right.
piece. So
that seems reasonable.
but yeah, I have seen some people do some amazing deals off of door knocking.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Wow. People were giving you crap for that?
Yeah. Yeah, online.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought that's what got everybody into wholesaling was like the checks. You're like, first call, man, $100,000 right here.
Not that one. Yeah. And you know, it's funny because agents were also the ones that were you know, giving me crap about it. And I'm like, dude, I'm a broker.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be an agent.
Yeah.
And I also know that a lot of agents, you know, they don't do the service that they're supposed to be doing.
Sure.
Other than just putting the sign up there.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And we've seen the MLS.
Really? Yeah. No, don't say that. No, you're talking about 95% of the agents out there, aren't you?
My gosh.
Yeah.
I was looking on the MLS today at opportunities. I've seen, it's funny, the pictures that some of these agents use on their MLS. It's a complete disgrace, and it's an absolute disservice to the sellers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how the sellers, I've had sellers call me pissed off when I've hired professional photographers and spent like $1,000 on the photographers taking pictures of their property. Right. And I see agents posting pictures with thumbprints on the camera where everything's foggy. Didn't the seller give them a call or say something to them? Like, I don't get it.
No.
I saw one today. The picture was one. Okay. One, and it was of a rose. I kid you not. It was like,
that's violation.
An artist.
Exactly. This is like supposed to be the front of the house. One picture. That's all they're required to do. But it was a rose. And yes, it was on the market like 2 or 3 days, but still it's in violation. You know, I'm looking at it going, violate it or don't violate it. I go, you know what? I'm over it. I'm just moving on here. You know? It's like, wow. If the sellers actually knew, or if they saw.
How do they not know?
You know?
I just don't get it.
Well, they don't know because they don't, you know, like me, I send my final listing product to the seller to look at and review and tell me, you know, hey, the AI came up with this description of your house. Yeah. Make sure it's good here, okay? Or if there's anything else I put there or missed, please let me know and I'll correct it. But I don't think a lot of agents do that.
Yeah, I know.
No, they don't. You know, so we're not here
to
bash
you
agents.
Guys.
I'm curious about your book.
Yeah, so you know, I have always wanted to write a book. That was something that I really wanted to do because I wanted to get the knowledge on paper and put it out there. So I wrote a book. It's called "It's Not the Leads, It's You." right? I think that's pretty self-explanatory for anybody that's in sales. And so I started writing it about 6 months ago. I did use AI, and I'm not afraid to share that with people because AI is only as good as the prompts or the information that people are putting into it. So it's not like I said, well, just write me a 200-page book, or even let's just break it down a little bit further. It's not like I said, write me a $2,500 word chapter on cold calling. Right, it wouldn't have done a good enough job. It wouldn't have had the knowledge that was in my head, and it wouldn't have had any real soul in it. So what I did was I did use it to help me. I would basically use voice to text on like a Google Doc. So I would go out there and I would just share all of my thoughts on a particular topic, and I'd put it all on Google Doc, and then that would be anywhere between 4,000, 5,000 words, and then I'd put that into AI, and I'd say clean it up for me, and so it's really all my content. It's just cleaned up. It's just it's the same. It's just like having an editor.
Yeah,
right.
That's awesome.
So I let AI do the editing for me, but sometimes when I tell people from the jump that hey, I did it with AI, they assume that AI wrote it for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not. It was more of a tool to help me clean up all of the thoughts that I had and all of the experience that I've had over the last 30 years doing what it is that we do.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, AI is going to be used in all books.
What are the topics in the book?
So, believe it or not, there are a couple of chapters on AI specifically, on how we use it in sales now and how we use it for a lot of different things. I mean, we use it for the descriptions, we use it for photos, we use it for conversational AI, which I think is huge. Like, have you guys tried air.ai yet?
Yeah.
It gets mixed results, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we could talk a little bit about like my experience, but I still like what they do and the product. I hear mixed emotions from different people that have used it, but I like conversational and language model based AI. I think it's going to work, even though they did pass. The recent FCC passed something where like unless they've enrolled
opted in,
then you can't give them a call. But,
correct.
But anyway, so I talked a little bit about AI. We definitely talked a little bit about cold calling. Since I'm also speaking from the perspective of like a team leader, we talked about how listening to your mentors and following what they say versus trying to do it your own way. Learning from their successes and their failures. We go into building a team and having virtual assistants. I even cover, there's a whole chapter on like virtual assistants, the do's, the don'ts, being careful so that your accounts don't get hacked if you are using overseas help, because it's happened to me. Okay. And then you're cut off of your own accounts. And then so a lot of stuff really... it's not real estate sales per se, but you can tell that a lot of my experience is from real estate just based on reading the book. But it applies to really any type of sales position, not only real estate.
Okay. So it's not the leads, it's you. What specifically is it about you that you're talking about?
Yeah, so you as the person, right? As an organization, especially in a sales organization, we all know as team leaders, we make it rain, we get the leads, and we spend money on these leads, and then it's our job to either follow up with the leads ourselves, or we give them to our team, and then the team goes and follows up with them. And you can give the same list of 20, 30 leads to one person, and they'll say that the leads are crap. And you can give that same leads of 20 or 30 people to another person, and they'll be able to walk out of there with 4 or 5 deals on it. It's not the leads, it's the person that's calling the leads. It's the person that's following up with the leads. It's the person that's nurturing those leads and building those relationships with those leads. And so you is that person that... that claims that all leads are crap. The Glenn Ross leads, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So how do you train somebody not to be so negative about a particular set of leads? What would if somebody came back to you and said, yeah, these are all crap leads, and then you gave those same leads, like you said, to somebody else, and they got 4 or 5 deals, what is it that you're going to train in this first person that this second person is actually doing?
Well, I think the very first thing I would teach them is, number one, go in there with the mindset that these leads are worth tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And because that's potentially what it would have cost us as an organization to get those leads, either by making the phones ring or by making PPC inquiries come in, however it might be. Listen, these leads are valuable. They are worth money. There's monetary value here. So the first thing I want them to understand is that, yeah, to you might be getting them for free right now, but there's actually an expense behind it that was, that we invested in just to get them. That's the first thing. I want them to understand that money was invested getting these leads to you. However they came in, we invested money getting them. So number one, take care of them. That's the very first thing. Then the second thing is don't give up after the first call, right? You call 30 people and none of those 30 people answer. What are you going to do next? So what's the rest of your day going to be like? Are you going to tell me that you're just going to do nothing?
Start
now?
over.
You do it again. You call them
Absolutely.
again. Hey, listen, you find other creative ways to get a hold of this person. Hop on Facebook, Google their names, find them on LinkedIn, look for them on Instagram, look for them on TikTok. Find other ways where you can actually get a hold of that prospect. If they're close enough and it's not that far and you can drive and go visit them on the door, go knock on the door if it's close enough, right? I mean, and we all know what it's like here in Southern California. I mean, it can take... GPS told me that it was going to take earlier in the morning. It told me it was going to take me about 50 to 60 minutes to get over here. I leave around 1:45 and I get here around 4:30 or 4:20. So I mean, like it shifted. The traffic shifted. So
Yeah.
I understand when someone says, just like I argue that like I can't door knock all doors, but if it's close enough, go knock on the door. Find other creative ways to get a hold of the prospect as opposed to you just telling me these aren't good leads.
Do you think it's the creativity of the agent or just the laziness?
Yeah, 100%. It's the laziness. It's the laziness. It's the work ethic. It's some of them they just haven't hit the wall enough times. So that's another thing that we've discovered, right? And I'm sure you guys have experienced this. If someone comes in and have success too quick, that also concerns me because I'm afraid that they may be in and out just as fast as they had that initial success because they didn't know what it was like to really grind. Whereas I've had members of my team that were, 3 months, 4 months, no luck, no success. And then they see the person right next to them close a deal in their first 2 weeks. It messes with your head, your psyche. And then that person who closed a deal 3 months later, they're not even in the organization anymore. They've left the profession. They're doing something else. Whereas that person who was there, it took them 6 months to get that deal. They become lifelong friends sometimes because those are the ones that knew what it was like to really pay the price to get it. So I think a lot of it is work ethic. Sometimes it's even having success a little too soon sometimes. And them just not being mentally strong enough. They're just not mentally strong enough. And they haven't gotten out of that employee mindset.
Yeah.
They're used to, I work for 1 hour, I should get paid for that 1 hour. Whereas with us, we could work for 2 weeks and not get paid on something. Months on a deal sometimes.
3 or 4 months. How long did it take you to get your first deal?
Yeah, I think like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, 3 or 4 months, which is kind of average, honestly. It's like
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
You have to start. You have to actually be disciplined. You have to call. You have to listen to what these people are saying.
Yep.
Come up with objections, resolutions, and stuff like that. So it is work.
100%.
I tell agents, I go like, just because you have your license, you're not going to be a millionaire tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's this 4-letter word. It's called work.
Yeah.
You have to work at it because nobody's going to give it to you.
Well, I came from the background of learning guitar where you suck for so long before you can get good.
Yeah.
And you kept at it, though.
Yeah, I kept at it. I'm like, I don't know how, but it's the same sort of thing. You just suck for so long.
Do you see that in people that, did you say you had a wholesaling team?
Yeah.
Okay, so like we do too, and we get young kids that come in here and they go, I want to learn how to do wholesaling. I'm excited. I'm going to make a lot of money. You see them for about a week or two. They're making calls, and then they never show up again.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's because they're part of the microwave generation, right? They have it's much more difficult for them because they're used to that instant gratification. And so people, I think 30 and above, and even I'm being generous with 30, but 30 and above, I think they tend to understand a little bit, the delayed gratification a little bit more than 30 and under. 30 and under,
I'd say 40.
Yeah, I'm being generous, but yeah. I just didn't want to offend any listeners. But yeah, I agree with you 100%, 100%. Although some of the ones that do have a background as athletes, musicians, the people that had invested years in a craft, whatever that craft may have been, those people I've noticed they're a little bit more resilient than the ones that don't have a background in that, and I'm not talking about the ones that say, I played rec league, handball. I'm talking about like real athletes, people have really committed, just like you said, the guitar, pianists, so you wouldn't think people from that creative background would be interested in this, but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
And they understand that.
Now, you had said originally that your dad, said take this real estate exam and stuff like that, and you were very negative on it. What was the light bulb moment that said, "Oh, wow, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be serious about it"?
Yeah, I don't think it happened that summer. I think it was more me just trying to prove my dad wrong.
Okay.
It was one of those father-son things where it's like I didn't take it serious, and like you don't take anything serious.
But what changed? What was the light bulb came on and said, I can do this, and I think I can be successful at it?
I think it really wasn't until my second or third year of having my licenses where it finally kicked in, only because I was still in school. So I was working very, very part-time. And if I sold a house, one house a year while I was in college, as a student, that was a lot. That was a lot of money. Yeah. So, but by the time I was done and I went in and I started seeing the people that I was working around in that office, and I would see their work ethic and their discipline. I was like, I'm going to run circles around these guys. Mm-hmm.
What year was that? Do you remember?
99.
Oh, wow. That was
99.
That was very early. Yeah. You've gone through a couple of downturns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 99. And that's, that was when the cycle, 2000s, where everything was accelerating.
Yes.
And so I just thought, well, if I can just outwork everybody around me, that was enough. So I had a corner, white pages, and the Haynes directory. You guys remember the Haynes?
Oh, yeah.
You know what that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is it?
It's called the Haynes directory. Yeah. It was like a huge white page. I mean, white pages, but when I say big, it's like we're talking probably larger than a legal size page. Yeah. And you could go through this and you just make your calls.
It's a map book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's like what you have in your Tesla in front of you right now.
Yeah.
But it was like this big and on paper.
Yeah.
With numbers, names and numbers. And they gave me a phone and they just said, get to work. And I was like, let's do it.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's do it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little boiler room-ish.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah. That's fun at that time. Just ringing the bell. You're like, yeah. Wow. Okay. And then you got into the REO stuff.
Yeah, I started seeing how the market was changing, kind of like what we're seeing right now. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, something's up. And somebody said to me, you should go to this foreclosure seminar where they're teaching people or agents how to get into REO. And so I remember going and just listening to what they were saying, and I thought, okay, I need to network with all these professionals and all these people and all these asset managers back then. So, and that's what I started doing. And I just got really good at making connections with them. Now, it was much easier then than it is now, because I know that a lot of people talk about like foreclosures and REOs and getting these REO accounts. And, working with asset managers. But a lot of the people that I used to work with aren't even in, asset management for these banks anymore. It's all new people, number one. And the system is just completely different than it was before. Before, I could get an email address and I could reach out to an asset manager and say, give me a shot, the same way we do now as investors. But it's a lot harder now. It's a lot harder.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried doing the same thing. Obviously not as successful as you. I went to all those same courses and stuff. I ended up getting one REO out of all my efforts, and there was a lot of effort involved. And
it is.
At the end of the day, I found out, and I think it's a truthful statement that because I had some other agents around me that would do REO contracts and stuff. They had personal relationships with the asset managers.
100%.
You know, how did you end up getting that REO? Oh, my husband works for the bank and he doles them out. Oh, really? So he just decided to pick you. Not a conflict of interest. I'm not saying that, but you know, that's kind of what I found out at the end of the day was that
It is. And joining trade groups.
yeah.
A really popular one is the NRBA. That's one that I was part of for a long time. And they would hold events and conferences and invite these banks. And I remember there's a time where we would do road tours and we would go visit all these banks. And there was a group of probably about 15 to 20 of us agents that would just travel together. And we would put on lunches and breakfasts and we would meet and we would walk through like all the cubicles, shaking hands, handing out cards. I mean, this was a real concerted effort by a group of us. Like we were like, okay, we're going to dominate this part, and we really did. And there were some that were doing even better than I was. I mean, 1 month I think it was like we did 30 transactions just in 1 month. And you are floating a lot of money though.
Yeah.
As REO brokers, because it's your responsibility to handle like evictions, repairs, cash for keys. So, I mean, at one point, I think we had like $250,000 out in just in expenses that we were hoping to get reimbursed for, which we eventually did, but it happens in waves and in trickles.
Yeah. So you had mentioned back then and now looking similar. So I want you to get your crystal ball out and tell me what is or isn't similar from 2008.
A lot of sellers have equity. They have equity, which poses a really good opportunity for investors, right, to be able to go out there and talk to them, for agents to be able to talk to them and put their properties on the market. So that's one of the biggest differences, is that they have equity. Second thing is that these lenders these days are really working hard to keep people in their homes. They don't want to foreclose on people. No. So, there's people that are still able to take advantage of the COVID forbearance plan. I thought we were out of COVID already, but like people are still. I talked to sellers and they're like, yeah, no, I just got approved for like COVID forbearance, which is crazy. I thought that had ended already. So they're still using that. And then there's people who are taking advantage of a forbearance programs where they're putting their loans on the back end as a second. I am right now in a transaction where we are the investor, we're the buyer, on a deal where a seller had a $68,000 forbearance as a second. And then there's an organization in this state, in California, that is paying that forbearance off for them.
Nice.
Which made the deal even more attractive to us as an investor, because now we don't have to take care of, we don't have to worry about that forbearance, give us a little bit more equity. But yeah, I mean, I can even, let me find that email. Oh, it's on I left the phone over there, but I can give the email address the website to the forbearance program. It's a nonprofit that is paying people's seconds off.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, the 2008 was totally crazy for everybody.
Yeah.
And the banks, I mean, if they were doing first and seconds because they were doing 100% financing. So they did it 80% first, 20% second. And then when, the world blew apart, you'd call Chase, they had the first and the second, and they, you go, okay, well, we're okay with, the first and do the paperwork on that, but what about the second? We can't pay that. And they go, oh, well, don't worry about it. Just pay us $5,000. Of what we owe. It's like you owed them $200,000. Then they negotiate down to $5,000. It's like, wow, okay, that's good. That works for me.
These days, you really have to completely just put your head in the sand and just completely avoid them for them to foreclose on you.
Yeah.
If you pick up the phone as a homeowner and just give them a call, they want to work with you. That's what we're discovering.
Yeah, no, they don't want the property back. That just doesn't make sense for them to have the property back. But then there's a point in time where they say, sorry.
Yeah, if you're just
like
non-responsive,
long.
you're not showing any effort. in trying to resolve what's going on. Yeah.
So back in 2008, we had the lenders that were being crazy with their loans. Okay. And we had obviously unemployment, which was, I think, the biggest problem. Do you see any of that happening today? I'm trying to figure out what's the correlation, because I feel the same thing. I feel like we're kind of bubbling at the top here. Is it going to be a big implosion or
I think
gradual?
A lot of people talk about this soft landing. I think that's what we're going to see. I don't see them allowing. They would much rather work with these people on their mortgages, number one, and then number two, the unemployment rate I don't think is as bad as it was back then.
Right.
But the inflation rate is still pretty bad, and so even though the unemployment rate might not be as bad, their dollar still goes way less.
Yeah.
So it's a different time, but it's definitely a similar feeling. Like something's happening, and if these homeowners who are experiencing hardships aren't working with their banks, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, but do you think there's going to be
tsunami?
Hundreds of thousands of
I was
them,
promised a tsunami.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think we're
or?
seeing more. I think we're going to see more of the silver tsunami than we are an REO tsunami.
See, now he's picking on me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not that far behind you, and I
okay.
use just for men. So
I knew it. I knew that was coming.
Silver tsunami.
yeah, I think we're in for it more for that than we are an REO tsunami.
Yeah.
Personally.
Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I just think that and even then that may not necessarily happen because the boomers are leaving a lot of their property to their kids because their kids can't afford.
So annoying.
They can't.
Yeah.
They can't afford.
I'm just like, what about me, man?
Yeah.
I had an agent I was recruiting call me today, and she goes, "Hey, Joe, how much longer are you going to be working there?" And I said, "Well, hopefully a period of time." Why? She goes, "Well, the only reason I'm coming over is because of you. Like, if you were going to leave like in 2 or 3 months, why would I come over?" I go, "Okay, yeah, kind of push me out the door here,
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah, forced retirement.
yeah.
Turn in your badge, sir. You're done.
We won't allow it.
no,
Unless it's what you want, but you always
no,
say
he
you don't
doesn't
want to
want that.
retire.
No.
So.
Why? What's the
I
purpose
know.
of retirement?
Yeah, you could do this as a hobby or whatever. I don't know. It's fun.
If I start repeating myself,
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend like I only heard you one time.
Yeah.
kind of looking like
Looking off
we
scared.
cured Medicare. That wasn't the question. Then hopefully
Then you
somebody's
know.
going to tell me, right?
Yeah.
We'll just take you to lunch.
Yeah. Like, it's time to go to lunch, Joe.
Time to go to lunch. I'm good with that. Time to go to lunch. So what kind of hairy deals are you working with right now?
I love sub 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I like sub 2 deals. It's amazing how many real estate agents lack knowledge of subject to transactions, and they'll tell you how it's illegal, it can't be done, and I'm like, I remember in the 80s when my parents had the Carlton Sheets DVDs. See, now
I still have it.
you still have it?
Yes, I still have it.
I need to get those.
Yeah,
I still have it.
You need to let
He's
me
still
use them.
alive too.
I thought he passed.
Did he?
I think he passed. Yeah.
Oh man, it
Yeah.
just depressed me more.
Yeah, I think he passed. No, I loved Carlton Sheets.
Yeah.
I loved those infomercials. I would watch him at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
He has these people there talking about their deals and their checks, and and so he was, as far as I'm concerned, the original sub 2
Yes.
teacher
Yeah.
back in the 80s and the 90s.
Yes.
And so I had, and members of my own family had purchased their own homes that way. And I remember seeing it. So I love subject to transactions. They do get a little difficult when you're dealing with real estate agents that don't have any real knowledge on how they work. And so those are great investment opportunities, especially when you get those ones with the really good rates, the interest rates.
Yeah, I checked with my broker, and he says that's illegal. I can't do that.
Just like
God. Now I got to train you and your broker. Come on.
It's like,
Do you
crazy,
want
right?
your commission or not?
I know.
Okay.
Isn't it?
I'm not going to go around you. We're still going to pay you a commission.
That's what we tell them.
You know,
Yeah.
hello.
You're going to get paid.
You know? It's like,
Yeah.
isn't that your goal to get paid?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's interesting because I'm sure you guys do too, but we use disclosures, the sub 2 disclosures that, you know, and they clearly state, hey, look, the loan is still in your name,
Yeah.
you're still responsible if something happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's all disclosure. But agents will be like, well, you know, those disclosures really show that it's all in your favor. And we'll have these conversations where like, well, it's not. It's just that I'm being completely transparent with them about the process, just like we as agents have to be completely transparent about all our disclosures when we're putting our disclosure. It's the same principle. But yeah, they have a very difficult time. Like,
No, they do.
Yeah.
It's a teaching effort. You know,
Yeah.
that's what you have to do. Just
Well,
like,
and
you know,
I've worked
take
some,
a deep breath.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've worked some where you go back and it's like you see that listings removed, house never got sold.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I gave you a way out.
Yeah, I don't. that is amazing. I see that all the
Like
time.
you'd rather not get paid than okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I do the same thing. So in our CRM, I'm constantly
I
going
know,
back,
yeah.
and I'm looking, and I label them as like lost opportunities. So I'm
Right.
like, oh, lost opportunity. Then
Yeah.
I go back and I'll check the history on it, and I'll see like
Yeah.
it didn't go anywhere anyway.
Right.
And I'm just like, why? Like we were right there.
For sure.
Yeah. You know, the fix and flips. Those are always fun. And then when you have deals where you have some where you go in and you think the numbers are all right, you've comped it right, you've got the repairs down right, you've sent contractors over there, and everything looks right. You have a nice little margin there where you can make an assignment fee on it if that's what you want to do. And then you start going out to investors, and then all of a sudden, none of the investors want to touch it. And then you have to go back and renegotiate a little bit on the price. And sometimes they bend, and then sometimes they don't. And you know, these are all the challenges that we go through when we're dealing with some of these deals. You know, especially I feel like that happens more on the fix and flip than it does the sub 2 deals.
Yeah, because you only get so much information as far as especially when you're talking to them on the phone and they're like, yeah, it's good, everything's good. And then you go out there, AC doesn't work, roof needs to get repaired.
It's been red tagged.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah, I didn't think that was a big deal.
Yeah, somebody came by and just put this red thing on there the other day. I thought, I'm good to go. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but are you mostly in California or?
So I love California just because it's our home state, but we're in Arizona, California, Texas, Nevada.
Nice. Oh, cool.
Florida. I love
Nice.
Florida.
Yep.
Man, their inventory is becoming insane. Insane. I mean, there are a lot of properties on the market in Florida right now. A lot. And then I like Georgia too. I haven't really hit in the Northeast. I haven't gotten my foot into the Northeast, but I hear that
touched it.
I hear like Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh is like a hot market right now too, but I haven't really stepped into it too much.
Yeah, there's like there's so much. It's like we were kind of like in the same markets, like Nevada, Texas, Florida, and then big time is in Alabama now. So we're doing some stuff in Alabama. So yeah, he's like buying portfolios out there. So we're doing some lead generation out there. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but it's pretty sweet how you can just do it from here, and you know, it's like the same process anywhere, really.
The exact same thing. The REO was like that too, and so I think it was easy for me to gravitate to make that leap where I was like, oh, okay, all right, it's not a big deal, because there were plenty of properties in REOs as REO brokers where we never saw them. We didn't see them at all. So sorry about that. That's my phone.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me. I was like,
Can you hit it?
It's on the table in the back.
Yeah.
I got it. You guys keep going.
All right.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, you know, to be able to do it virtually is probably one of the, if not the best part about what we do.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, we can wake up, roll out of bed,
Yep.
and just get to work.
Yeah. Do it on the beach.
On the beach. On the beach.
As long as you got Wi-Fi, you're good.
Yeah.
I get better cell service on the beach than in our house right now.
So we have to
So
go
I
to
have
the beach
to.
and do it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, with
Not my
Wi-Fi, it's fine. But like if the Wi-Fi goes out, I have to go down there.
Wow. Nice.
Cool. So we got some videos. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Cool.
We're gonna play them right here and let's let it rip.
All right. So hopefully hopefully the sound works this time. Let's try it. Oh. Okay.
Hello?
Hi, James. This is Ryan from. How you doing this morning?
Don't call me again. Don't call this number. Go home to whoever you live with and stay there, but don't call me no more.
Hey, James. Are you still in real estate? I was just checking out your social media sites. I
don't
didn't
need
see
you
any
checking on
activity.
me. I don't need you checking on me. If I need somebody to check on me, I'd call. I don't need somebody to babysit me. You understand that, boy?
Hey, I understand that, boy.
All right,
I
well, then
just
hang
wanted
up
to
the
help you
phone and
out
don't
with
call
your
me no
business.
more. No, don't call me no more.
James, I just want to make sure you're
Hang
doing
up the
good
phone.
real
Don't call
estate.
me no more.
What are you doing to stay in
Hang
touch
up the
with your
phone. Don't call me
network?
no more. Hang up the phone. Don't call me no more.
Hey, James.
Hang up the
Are
phone.
you
Don't call me no
working off
more. Hang up the phone. Don't call me no
repeat
more. Hang
business
up the phone. Don't call me no
and
more.
referrals
Hang up the phone. Don't call me no more.
Are you familiar with?
Hang up the phone. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more.
Hey, man, your
Hang
current
up the phone. Don't call me no more.
it
Don't
just
call me no
looks like
more.
it's not
Don't call me no more.
driving
Don't call me no
business
more.
back to
Don't call me no more.
So what I'm seeing
Don't call me no
online,
more.
it's
Don't
not
call me no more.
necessarily
Don't call me no
built
more.
to
Don't call me no
convert
more.
business.
Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more.
You having fun, James?
Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more.
James, when should I call
I'm
you
taking
back?
up your time. You ain't taking up mine. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more.
Dude, that's fine.
Don't call me no more. 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 Don't call me no more.
So call you tomorrow?
Don't call this number no more. Don't call this number
love
no
it.
more. I'm going to take you off. I have got all of this recorded, with or without your permission, and you are harassing me. At this point, you're about ready to face a lawsuit. You understand that?
Nah, James, I don't.
Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more.
All right, you have a good one.
Hang up the phone and don't call this number no more. You understand that, boy?
I understand that, boy.
You understand that, boy?
All right, boy.
You understand that, boy?
Oh my god.
All right, brother. You
You
have a good
understand
one.
that, boy? You understand that, boy?
Oh my god.
I'm subscribed. Yeah, I love those guys. Or guy. Actually,
corporate
it's just
bro.
one guy.
Yeah. So I feel like that's what people picture when they're about to start dialing.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. It's just part of what we do. You know, I tell everybody if I know we've gone through those conversations, but when I'm like, look, one of us is going to have a bad day. It's either going to be you but it's not going to be me.
Nice.
So if I'm on the phone with you,
Yeah. Having a good time.
yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah, for sure. And I've honestly I have like a partner of mine that he does most of the acquisition stuff now, but it's like we rarely come across people who are super like pissed off. Most of the people are normal.
Yeah,
it seems like.
yeah, I would say
And
90%.
then, yeah, and maybe they just don't want to sell right now, or they have an inflated price or something. But yeah, every once in a while you come across somebody who's just like,
Don't call me no more.
don't comment on. Oh yeah. And what's funny is like we're doing a lot of the inbound as well. So they'll fill their information out, and then you call them, and they're like, "What? What is this about?" And you're like,
Yeah,
"You literally
100%.
just filled this out." And they're like, "No, I didn't." And you're like, "Yeah, you did."
Yeah, yeah.
You just got to get used to it.
What's that move Chad uses when they say like the cybersecurity team? or
Oh
something?
yeah. When they're like, no, we didn't fill that out. It wasn't me. Then we're like, okay, we're gonna need to get our cybersecurity team because this is like identity theft. So we're gonna have someone from law enforcement reach out to you. And if it wasn't you, if it was you, that's fine. But I just want to make sure that like you were the person that filled it out. So that's what we do sometimes.
Tell me if you close a deal.
No, it's literally like it's gone at that point. But we just need to mess with them to have fun.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. I'm sure it freaks them out.
Oh yeah. And then another one we would do occasionally if they're ghosting us is like we're gonna send like a wellness check over to you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because like I'll be like, I'm scared. I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm just getting really
Well,
worried.
that was one circumstance, and the guy was under contract, and so that was to get him to
he
respond.
was ghosting us. Yeah, and then we said that, and he was like, "No, I'm fine. It's okay."
I'm just trying to ignore you.
Yeah, it's like I just need you to tell me that, and then I'll go away.
That's a good one. I'm gonna try that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, the wellness check.
yeah.
I'm still in that.
All right, Mr. Wonderful coming up next. All right.
Start small, pay down the mortgage, sell it, buy something a little bigger as your salary goes up. But my rule, very simple, not more than 30% of your after-tax income. Otherwise, you could really screw yourself. Start small.
This is if you're buying a home for the first time.
Isn't that the standard though?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's like
Yeah,
that's
it
normal.
is.
Like
That's Mr. Wonderful. You
Yeah.
better attribute that to Mr. Wonderful. What do you think?
No, that's been around.
Do you
that's
agree?
yeah, that's typical.
Oh, okay.
That's what almost any lender will tell their.
Oh.
Yeah. I honestly, I like the good old days where I was literally putting 5% down. That's it. The banks are fine. Yeah. 95% loan. You're an investor. Yeah. Okay.
As an
No problem.
investor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm older than you.
Yeah, I've never seen.
Yeah, no, I'm older. I'm
ever
older
seen
than
that.
I know. It's
Yeah.
like
Wow.
they make it. Are they making it
you.
harder
Yeah,
and
it's
harder?
like the Carlton Sheets days that, he was teaching people how to do subject to, but my first property I bought over 40 years ago was basically subject to. It was an FHA, and they allowed it back then. It's no problem with, the built-in acceleration clause that happens nowadays, but really doesn't happen. Have you ever had one, or do you know of anybody? No, either. I've never had one either.
It's
They
the
kind of
boogeyman.
scare you. They go, oh gosh, you can't do this because they're going to call the loan. They've never called the loan. And, 45 years that I've been doing real estate, they've never called the loan. I got to tell people, just make the payment.
Right.
Okay? Especially nowadays, they got a little checkbox there. The AI says, oh, we got the payment. They don't care who they got it from. They say, check. Let's go to the next month.
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's nobody going, oh, wait a second. It says Joe owns this property, but we got a check from Alex.
Oh, they'll cash it.
What's
They'll
happening
still-
there?
Yeah,
Wait,
they'll still deposit.
Should we call Alex and find out? Should we not accept this money?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was back then. You could if you wanted to, let's say you got a plane ticket, you wanted to just give it to Paul. You could be like, here, there's my plane ticket. Go ahead and go on.
Why not?
I know.
That's
how it should be.
That's
But now
a
it's
good-
all like
no,
you got to fill these things out. You got to swipe your face.
I remember that. The airlines being able to do that with the airlines. You could just give somebody a
I
ticket
know.
and then it was okay.
Yeah.
That's how it was with loans back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Now it's
Your
all-
wife was coming back in town and you had to get your girlfriend out of there real quick. So here's a ticket, babe. See you later. See you next time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You better not. All right. Should we do one more?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do this. Stop calling your leads. Stop calling your leads. Or it's not going to work.
That's not
Oh,
how
there we go.
life works anymore. Stop calling your leads. If you get this part of it right, if you understand that all you have to do is get them helpful, educational content on a consistent basis. Now, that can be via email. It could be via YouTube. It could be via Facebook. It could be via text message. It can be anything except voice. I'm telling you, and you've heard me say this before, my youngest son is 20. He's 20 years old. He'll be 21 soon. If I called him right now, I wish I had my phone with me. I could call him right now, and I guarantee you he won't answer the phone. He will immediately text me back, and it'll say, "What's up?" It's my son. And if I call him, he won't answer the phone. He will immediately text me. Maybe while it's still ringing, he'll text me and say, "What's up?" Because that's how they prefer to communicate. That's not how life works anymore.
Interesting.
I think it just depends on the demographic.
Of course,
obviously, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
I
you're reaching out
totally
to
agree.
20-year-olds, yeah.
It's like first thing, why are you calling a 20-year-old about an investment? It's like they don't have any money. You should be calling the silver people, It's like
Silver Tsunami.
Silver Tsunami, call
Yeah.
them. They're the ones with all the money. They're the ones that are going to pass it down to
They
the
still
next
got landlines.
generation.
They
You
do.
know?
Some do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love landline.
They love
They
getting the
love
package.
letters too.
Yep. Yep.
They actually open their mail.
They do.
This generation, they're too lazy to do anything. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just be an
but they
emoji
are.
like.
Well, I'm not
saw.
sure how many Gen Z, Gen Alpha own homes currently.
Yeah, no, it's.
Yeah.
I get his point because we used to like to do texting, and with the calls, it's like it's easy to block. But I mean, you got to do it all. It's like you call and then you text, and then you call and then you text and you call. But and then whichever they prefer to do.
Well, maybe they respond more through text because it's less personal, and they can say, don't call me anymore. Don't call me anymore. Don't call me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, instead of actually calling you and telling you that.
Well, you know what's one of the trends that I've heard that a lot of them are doing now, and I've been experiencing it, is they'll actually use the voice recording, and so they'll use that feature as opposed to, you know, they don't want to type anything out, so they just record a message and they're sending that.
Yeah.
So that's becoming much more popular
Right.
among them. But I mean, I'm seeing even other people my age do the same thing.
Yeah.
They'll respond to me that way, and they'll just leave voice recorded messages.
Right.
Messenger, texting, WhatsApp, whatever. They'll send them to me that way.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got a few friends that do that. I'm like, I'm not.
Because you don't want to. That means I have to hear the whole thing. If you're leaving me a message, it's like a minute and a half.
Yeah, it's like
I could have scanned your
Right.
text a lot quicker than hearing that whole minute and a half message.
Luckily, it transcribes it now.
It does?
Yeah, it'll transcribe it on
nice.
the iPhone.
Not
but-
like on social media. Not
Right,
like on,
right. Oh,
like,
yeah,
Not
no,
on
no,
Instagram
no.
and
It'll
not on
just be,
Facebook.
yeah,
you
you're
just
like,
see the audio like image, and I'm like,
You're like,
now I got to listen to it
right.
because otherwise I don't know how to respond.
Exactly. That's good. Don't do that. No, maybe. But awesome. Well, how can people get a hold of you?
So if you're interested in learning more, you know, from a real estate agent perspective, you can get a hold of me, and you can call me at 626-600-2734, and you can email me at Paul at, and then it's very simple. It's Talk to Paul, everything spelled out, no numbers. Talk to Paul, TalkToPaul.com. If you're interested in learning more about like our wholesaling team and our investor side, you know what? Just use the same number and email. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, as opposed to me giving out to.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Well, you can send those to me. We'll put it in the description, and then when people watch it, they can check it out. But
Cool.
Do we have any questions?
No questions, but we have Liz in the chat. She says
Hey,
hi.
Liz. Hey, Liz.
Hi, Liz.
And then going back to earlier, Chad says we can stick with 30 and over.
Oh, 30
About-
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, pretty much.
About work ethic.
For sure. Heck yeah.
We'll be a little bit nice.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Very cool. Well, dude, I appreciate you making the trek down here.
I'm sorry for running late. Thank you for
it's all
having me.
good. And wearing the Aloha shirt. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
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 Nice.
Yeah, I love wearing Hawaiian shirts. If you feel more comfortable doing it in the summer than you do in the winter, but
Right.
because we're not in like Palm Springs or
For sure.
some of the other harder.
What happened to your shirt today?
I didn't have any that were clean, so I wore my linen.
Producer, does he clean? Does he do his wash, or do you?
That's probably like 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it is in our house.
My wife taught all my kids how to do laundry.
He knows how to do laundry.
I bought my first house, and I used to take my laundry over for my mom to do it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because she wanted to.
She did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know how it is.
She did.
Wow.
And then when I bought my first house, 20, and then I met my wife a little bit after that, called it my bachelor pad. And then I used to, kind of cook macaroni and cheese and stuff at home and stuff, but I'd never do the dishes. I'd wait for her to come over.
Joe.
And she would do the dishes for me.
No.
That's why I married her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Such a nice person. Yeah.
Yeah. See, saying stuff like that, that's where the 30 and under, they'll crucify you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
can't-
that was
You can't.
that
you
was
can't-
a 50s mother.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they did everything.
Simpler
back then.
times back then.
Yeah.
They did everything.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll come back.
We
It'll-
have the whoever cooks, the other person does the dishes.
Now,
rule.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today, like, what time you getting home for dinner? Oh, cool. She asked about dinner. Yeah, because, like, I'm hungry. I go, what, you didn't cook? No. There's no cooking on Fridays.
There you go.
Yeah.
That turned into Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
Monday,
Monday,
Tuesday,
go.
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday.
Thursday.
Way to go, Lorraine.
That's my move too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. And then he offers to grab something on the way home. I'm just like, no. I want
No,
to go
that's
out.
no
Oh
fun.
yeah, she wants to go out.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I
Let's
gotcha.
go out.
Yeah. gotta
Thank
keep 'em
you
happy.
for showing up.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks a
it.
lot.
Yep. And then everybody grab a copy of your book.
Yeah, okay, so the book is it's not the leads, it's you. It's on all the major platforms except for Apple Books, so you can find it on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, on Audible, right? You can also find it on Google Books and on Barnes and Noble. So, yeah, it
That's
would be
so cool.
I'd love to hear your feedback.
Awesome. Very
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, give us
Thank
the
you.
feedback. Let Paul know. Follow him on all of his socials and reach out to him if you want to learn how to be an agent or to get into wholesaling or investing. We will be back next Thursday, and we'll see you guys then.
We'll see you then. Take care.
Bye.
If you want some more advice on real estate investing, reach out to us one-on-one.